Dear Professor Yunus, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it gives me great pleasure to be invited to address the distinguished audience participating in this 12th edition of the Global Social Business Summit here in Turin. It has been 25 years since I had the great joy of meeting Professor Yunus, and I have never lost the sense of privilege I felt the first day I met such an extraordinary person. I am convinced that the visionary concept developed by Professor Yunus over recent decades offers a chance, both for our generation and those to come, to change society in a meaningful way by transforming ideas into actions. The ambition to solve social problems by developing sustainable business projects requires courage and creativity. It is a true commitment to those in need. Above all, I have learned from Professor Yunus the importance of listening with humility to the poorest, for me, those who know best, to hearing those concerned, who know better than anyone what they need. We met today in the context of worldwide humanitarian crisis that has stretched the existing social pacts to breaking point. Between the pandemic and its disastrous consequences in terms of health and lost economic opportunity, not to mention the tragedies of war such as we are witnessing in Afghanistan or in Ukraine, this summit, which is the major annual meeting of the large family of the social economy around Professor Yunus, is more than ever relevant. The war in Ukraine alone has generated widespread hunger and crippling inflation on a global scale. What happened last year in Afghanistan is creating hunger in the country and a poverty that it has not known for decades. In the last 2 years, extreme poverty has increased. This has not been the case, as I just said, for decades, and tragically, it's the poorest and most vulnerable who always suffer the most. Ladies and gentlemen, we need an additional global effort to help contain and reverse this tragedy. This is why today I would like to say to every one of you, together, we have the means to change tomorrow's world for the better. Our best example is undoubtedly that of Professor Yunus. When he launched his initiative in 1977, very few believed in it, and yet today it brings relief to tens of millions of people. With his approach, one problem, one solution, Professor Yunus has brightened the lives of 130 million people around the globe. He has achieved this through important partnerships in which Luxembourg, as a major banking center committed to inclusive finance, social business, and sustainable finance, has been and will continue to be actively involved. In this difficult worldwide context, Luxembourg remains a dynamic actor for change. In 2005, Luxembourg launched the European Microfinance Award to promote financial inclusion initiatives. I have had the honor of chairing the grand jury for several years, and I'm always struck by the excitement generated by this event. In 2006, a synergy between the government and the banking sector created LuxFlag, which supports the growth and financing of sustainable development by giving a recognizable label to eligible investment products. It was a world first. Another landmark in 2008 was the creation in Luxembourg of the Grameen Crédit Agricole Microfinance Foundation. And in 2022, I'm proud to share with you a new and innovative initiative. At a time when climate change, pandemics, and wars make the position of refugees a critical issue for our concern, the Grameen Creative Lab has just been incubated with BGL, BNP Paribas Bank, in partnership with Singa Luxembourg, an association that works to facilitate the inclusion of newcomers in Luxembourg, and the University of Luxembourg. This is the first inclusive social enterprise to promote the integration of refugees when they arrive in their host country. Its name is well chosen, One Step Forward. This step forward was made possible by one of you, Jimmy Corneille. In naming him here, I would like to pay tribute to all the other entrepreneurs and who are present at this reunion and at the summit. These initiatives are very important to me, and I am extremely grateful to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, every step forward is welcome because the problems are huge and unfortunately increasing. They are no longer merely about economic, social, and environmental challenges. It is more generally about doing everything possible to achieve a future of justice and especially of peace. The summit we are opening today is therefore more than ever a global forum. I have been involved in social business myself for many years as a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, as eminent advocate for children at UNICEF, and in my commitment to women in Luxembourg and around the world with my association Stand, Speak, Rise Up. I'm deeply convinced that the integration of women in economic life will not only play a crucial role in the transition towards a more equitable society, but also in the creation of more resilient economies. Achieving the empowerment of all women and girls through social business and education is not only a fundamental right, it is the pillar on which rests a more just and peaceful, sustainable world. I know that this is one of the best ways to eradicate poverty and achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, as Professor Yunus for years has been proving. These, in turn, are a powerful force of peace, as I have said. Dear Professor Yunus, thank you so much for this long-term and forever young commitment, and thank you for helping hundreds of thousands in need around the world to rise out of despair. Your extraordinary endeavor and commitment to the poorest of the poor has been an everlasting inspiration. The answer to poverty, having the intelligence, the humility, the generosity to trust and to lend to those who have nothing. It is also a great sign of intelligence. How wise, how beautiful, and how revolutionary. I have been amazed by your genius at turning dramatic and potentially critical situations into flourishing, positive opportunities and solutions. This approach is shared by both of us, and if I had to summarize in a few words the methodology that drives us both, I would emphasize this: the importance of going out to meet the people concerned and taking the time to listen, to be there for them. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, if there is one message I would like to give the younger generation here today, it is to promote holistic approaches, which should not only be about models and economic efficiency, far from there, but especially about exchange, understanding, creativity, imagination, to help other human beings get out of difficult situations. Because I am deeply convinced that when we help one single person recover his dignity, we are actively working towards a culture of global peace. Thank you.